And he comes in my room, and it's all I could say was, I pointed to you yesterday to my dad and told him that. I said, what if that's my donor?
Yeah.
And it was him. And I would look at the doctor like, what do you mean? And all that could go through my head was, you got a living donor. You cannot, this kidney's gotta work. You can't have something in your body from somebody who you met and get along with and it don't work. And he's walking around with one kidney.
And for donors, you actually have a higher life expectancy because you're more cautious of your lifestyle.
Hey, that's so funny you
So
said
it's,
that.
it's a win-win, right? The day before the adoption was finalized, the birth mother comes back to town and says, I'll take my kids back, please. The birth mother had murdered her 4-year-old son at that point.
Hey everyone, we're talking about a real life miracle that happened right here in this town. So Damon is a talented engineer who fought kidney failure and dialysis for 3 years. His good friend Josh tried to help, but found out he wasn't a good match right at the end. And then a complete stranger named Jeffrey Boyd stepped in an extraordinary way, inspired by his own heartbreaking story that's connected to a local tragedy. This story is about friendship, sacrifice, second chances, and the power of one person saying yes. I hope you enjoy. So Damon is a talented engineer who fought kidney failure and dialysis for, was it 3 years or more?
Yeah, 3 years. I was on dialysis for a year. And the kidney disease was acute for, say, almost 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Since 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually was taking a trip to England and I would get gout on occasion. And the only thing that would acutely like help me with the gout would be like a prednisone. So I would go to my doctor and get prednisone, especially if I was taking a trip or something like that. And this particular time, they were kind of hesitant on giving it to me. And they were like, you know, your protein levels in your urine are kind of high. So we're not wanting to give you the prednisone. We'll give it to you this time and next time no, because we don't want you to be on dialysis by the time you're 50. Now, when they told me that, I was just in. First of all, I was like, are you talking to me? What's that mean? Why are you even telling me that? Kind of got an attitude with him a little bit. And maybe 2 or 3 years later, and that was like 2019, maybe a year later, I started going to a nephrologist and they would like, everything is fine. You're about 40%. Kidney function, which isn't good, but it's not bad. You can live with that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm whatever. I'd say in 2021, I went in and had a normal checkup or whatever. And my kidney function was like 35, 40, something like that. Then I went again. I had COVID, in the beginning of 21, something like that, right in that time. And I went back to the nephrologist and he's like, man, your numbers are like
Dropping.
25%. I was like, well, it was just at 40% not even a month ago. And, I didn't even tell him about the COVID thing. He's like, yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on it. Come back next week and let's do the numbers again. And it dropped again. So I thought this time I needed to tell him I had COVID. And when I told him that, he's like, he stopped. He almost like dropped his notepad or whatever. He's like, man, that's destroying like people, especially in our field. It's totally making people have this kidney disease or exacerbating it like big time. And so from that point, he's like, when you get to 20%, you can maybe get on a list or, for donation, being a kidney donor. And at that point, I thought back to what the other doctor had told me. By the time I'm 50, I could be on dialysis. And everything just hit me all at one time. So at that point, I had my lady and my little girl. And I'm like, I had to go home and tell her that, tell my family that. And she was on point, like my advocate from that point. She was trying to figure out a way to be a donor. She was telling all these people, everybody about it. And I was just like, oh, it's not that big deal. You don't need to do that. But she was insisting, and, you know, she's like, you got a daughter, we got a daughter, you know, this, that, and another. So it really dawned on me how important it was that we nipped this in the bud. And I never felt anything. Like, I didn't feel sick. The only way I knew it is because of the levels in my, like, protein and things like that. You just don't feel it. So as time went on, I kept going to the nephrologist. He's like, you know, at some point you may need to go on, and I would go to Atrium Uptown and they'd be like, man, at some point you're gonna have to go on dialysis. And I was like, well, we can get a donor before then. And I'm not realizing how difficult it is to get a donor. Not all this is new to me. Some people may, but me personally, I never even thought about how tough it will be, number one, having to rely on somebody else to save your life, and to ask for, or humble yourself enough to ask for an organ from somebody. So all I could do was just tell people my story, and I actually would put it on my PS on my email so my clients could see it, and a lot of people would see it, you know, and a lot of my friends started trying to help me. It's weird. My partner died, and I was never on Facebook, like, at all. I'm not a big social media kind of person, but all of her friends were on Facebook, and I felt I needed to be able to communicate. She's from England, so a lot of her family could, you know, be able to communicate. It was just a better way to communicate with everybody, being on Facebook and whatnot. So I got on it, and as soon as I got on it, I was telling him earlier that, like, I got like 1,500 to 1,000 like friends like within a week or two, and these are people I'd almost forgot even were, you know, existed. I had forgotten about them, but you know, they weren't a part of my lives or anything, and all these people started popping up. It's kind of weird. So I was like, man, you might want to put your story on here. And it's really weird. My little girl was a Girl Scout, and she was trying to sell these cookies. And I put her story on Facebook, and she was the best seller in her whole troop, her whole little area or whatever. And I was like, man, you might even want to put this. My doctor was like, you could get a billboard, or you can go on Facebook. And it all just clicked. I was like, man, just put your story on Facebook. Just put it on there. You know, don't worry about it. So I put it on there, and people were coming from left and right trying to help me. And I was like, you would actually give me a kidney? Like, I wouldn't, because I'll be honest, when I've told Jeff this too. By the way, Jeff is my donor, and Josh was a potential donor of mine. And I never would have even thought about being a living person, giving somebody an organ. It's just, I probably would not be able to do that. Not everybody is.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, but some people have a different, like, there was a show on 60 Minutes, and they talk about people who have this hero gene.
Yeah.
You know, somebody will just jump in a ocean full of sharks to save somebody else, or, you know, person gets the car accident and they go do, you know, CPR on somebody and then they had another guy who just randomly, altruistically gave somebody a kidney. And it's all kind of weird how I remembered all of these things. Well, anyway, got to a point where my doctor was like, so creatinine is like I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a cursor for your kidney function. And everybody's normal is around anywhere from, you know, 0.5 to a 2. Mine went up to a 7.
Oh, wow.
Then it went up to like a 13 or 14. When it was at 7, I could control it with diet, things like that, exercise. But when it got to 14, my doctor looked at me. He was like, look, either you start doing dialysis or you're going to end up in the hospital and you might not be able to do anything about it. So At that point, I got really aggressive about trying to find a donor. And Josh looked at my Facebook. We were communicating, but it was really kind of one of those things. He's like, your daughter's a leap day baby? Your daughter's born on leap year?
Wow.
I was like, yeah, what?
That's so cool.
No big deal.
Check this out. So, Damon's class of 93, I'm class of 95. So we were buddies at Athens, but we weren't super tight. And my senior year, he was playing soccer at UNC Charlotte. My senior year, I actually moved to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had stopped playing at that point, but I still was.
And, you know, I decided to call Damon because I'm, you know, lonely. I'm in Charlotte. I'm going to a new high school. And I didn't know if he would blow me off or whatever. So I called him and we became really good friends that year, man. He was like, you know, he was living with 3 other soccer players. They had girls around. It would have been so easy for him to blow me off, you know, at that point, like, you know, and man, he just, you know, we just became really good friends. So fast forward 25 years, I had heard that he was having health issues. And then, you know, I think, you know, we friended on Facebook or whatever. And then we reached out, you know, I called him or he called me, we talked, we called up, you know how it is, you live in different parts of the country, you know, you lose touch, hadn't talked to somebody in 25 years. So whatever, we called up and then I found out that he lost the mother, you know, his partner, the, you know, mother of his daughter. So he's a single dad. He's got kidney failure. I just was like, you want to help.
Yeah.
Like, man, what? But here's the thing: everybody wants to be a hero, but nobody wants to run into a burning building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
You
it's
don't-
like, hey, look, you know what it would take to really help.
Right.
And that's give them a kidney.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, but that's serious business. So I couldn't get it off my mind. I was like, man, I didn't even know if we were the right blood type. You had to be either O negative or positive when you did that post. So I went and gave blood just to find out if I was even a match blood wise, you know. And sure enough, it came back. I was O negative, and you know, started praying about it. Started like, man, dude, am I crazy to consider this? Whatever. And then I found out I was born on February 29th, which is the most rare birthday you can have. It only comes once every 4 years. And then I found out that his daughter was born on February 29th. And at that point, I was like, dude, I'm being called to do this. You know, like, this is a no-brainer, man. I was like, the big guy upstairs he's grabbing me saying, you got to go, you know. And so we got the ball rolling. And first thing they told me, I was too fat. You got to lose, you know, they were like, man, you're no donor, dude. They're like, you know, you might need a kidney yourself one day, you know, with 30 pounds. So they told me I had to lose 30 pounds. So, man, I started hitting the gym big time. Was sending him pictures, taking pictures of the scales, and, you know, and then I had 3 small kidney stones. And so I went and saw a doctor over at Duke, a urologist. He was like, no, I'm okay. So the whole time was like an uphill battle. It was almost like they didn't want to do it. Like, first you're fat, now you got kidney stones.
Yeah.
But, you know, I lost the weight. And along the way, I was like, I almost needed this as much as him. As time went on, man, I was like, I got so excited about doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because you're helping your friend out. You're giving somebody life. You know, so I was, you know, just couldn't wait to do it, to be honest with you. I did want to get it over with. And want to go through the actual surgery and the procedure and all that. So I was like, we were pushing hard. I was like, look, we're a match. I've lost the weight. You know, the kidney stones are a non-issue. I was like, well, I want to get this over with, and he needs it. I was like, well, you know, so anyway, I guess this past March would have been March of 25. We were ready to go. I went and met with them for like the 10th time. And I'm not going to say his name because he ended up making the right decision, but I think there was a huge mistake made. He basically told me, hey, look, we'll have y'all a date in the next couple of weeks. You know, this is the head of the department, you know, over in the, you know, the transplant department. And he told me he felt really good about it. He was like, the last step is we just got to meet with the team, and the coordinator even called me and gave me a couple dates of in May that we might be able to do it. You know, so at this point it's just like,
you guys are that close.
Celebration phone call. And they call me on that, like, whatever day it was that they met. And basically I'm waiting on the call, picked it up, and she was like, hey, unfortunately, we as a team have decided to, you know, decline y'all. That we don't feel like with your arteries set up on your kidneys that it's a good match. And at this point, he's not in any danger of actually dying. So we're gonna hopefully he can find a better match. So anyway, after a year of kind of dedicating everything to helping your friend out, and then to get the rug pull last second was super devastating. And I got really depressed. And fast forward to right before Christmas, I'm out in Colorado skiing. Like what, Damon, 4 days before Christmas, he called me once. Wasn't able to pick up, and then he called again. I was like, I better pick up, make sure everything's cool. And he was like, dude, you're not gonna believe it, man. I got a donor. Wow. I was like, wow. So that was like greatest Christmas present ever. And then he was like, yeah, January 29th. And we didn't know anything about,
everything.
Jeff at the time.
And let me say this. So when he told me he couldn't do it, I mean, it was like a huge shock.
Let's back up a little bit.
Like
how did you feel when Josh agreed to donate?
I was just speechless.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like he said, we were friends, but we were athletes, so we had that respect. And he was a really good athlete. And he came to Charlotte, and I knew him, and his situation. We hung out the summer before that. I was like, sure, come hang out. And we all grew up together. So I was like, yeah, man, you can come here anytime you want. Mm-hmm. But on another note, it's really a crazy thing. He came to me, and I think I was telling Jeff this earlier. He's like, man, there's this guy that goes to my school. He's the next Michael Jordan. I was like, ain't no Michael Jordan. I said, who is it? He was like, remember this name, this guy, Antoine Jameson. Mm-hmm. And he went to high school with him.
I went to Providence. Yeah. Antoine. I just went to Providence once. We won the state championship in baseball, and Antoine went there and played basketball.
Yeah. Wow. Well, anyway, so at that point, he was pretty taken aback. Like he was irate. Yeah. And I told him, I said, look, I do believe that when things are supposed to happen, they're gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I fly off the handle myself a lot of times, but sometimes you got to be cool. It's not like they're doctors. That's what they're supposed to do, and I don't like the answer. Yeah. And I mean, it's killing me. Yeah. I need this too. I need it. Yeah.
Well, they ended up making the right call, but man, I was furious. He handled it a lot better than I did.
I needed it. I wanted him to relax, because it's not going to do any. It's not going to do any good but everybody gonna react the way they do. It's just how it is. Everybody handles things differently. So, I just, it's a weird thing, and I really rarely talk about these things because, probably in 2010, well, I broke my leg playing soccer in 2008. I was a wild dude before that, like really, all over the place. And I really had to calm down when I started going back to church a little bit, trying to get back to, some kind of foundation. And it was really weird. I just put all my faith in cards in the same box and say, hey, look, God's gonna take care of this. Don't feel no way. Just don't. And all these, things happened to me that explained to me why I needed to. My brother died, a younger brother at that. Then my partner died. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Then my mom died. Wow. Like it was, and all this while I had this kidney disease. And I'm like, dude, you cannot. And my daughter's at that point is 8 years old, and she's seen all of this, especially her mom. It was unbelievable. It happened so fast. But anyway, so at that point, I just started really I pray all the time. Even when I didn't go to church or anything, I pray regardless. And I just when he couldn't give me the kidney, I started praying. I'm like, man, God, I know I can get on the deceased donors list, and I'm on that. But the optimum transplant will be from somebody living. Please send me somebody that's a living donor. Please. Every day I would pray like that. Every morning. When I'm on the dialysis machine, I'm praying like that. It was really kind of strange. It was almost unlike me to do that. It was like me, but I never had a really 100% purpose, like life or death purpose before that to really pray like that. It was unbelievable. And after seeing the 60 Minutes thing, that was like 5 or 6 years ago that I saw that. It was like, just send me a hero. Like, send me somebody with that hero gene. I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. I'm not trying to be picky. If I get a deceased donor, I'm cool with that too. Send me something. And
But a living donor's way.
yeah, I started really getting like jaded a little bit. I'm like, dang, nobody's calling. I mean, then they'll call you. You could ask the ladies at Atrium. I mean, they would call me. And I'm like, what? Because they're like, you got to come do this test. You got to come do this. You got to come do that. You got to come. We need you to go and give blood so we can check these levels and all. It's like every week was something. It's always on a Friday when I'm in a meeting or something. Like when I didn't need them to call me. Thank God they did, but still, it was frustrating. I'm like, when are you gonna call me and tell me that you found me a donor? I mean, when is that gonna happen?
So when did that happen?
I said, when is that gonna happen? I would literally not be cool about it. I'm like, well, I don't care, but why are you calling me telling me that? I want to hear. I want you to tell me that I'm gonna get a donor. I was really at that point.
Yeah.
Like, and I shouldn't have been, but I just felt this urgency. Like I felt like I needed, the dialysis was not cool.
Yeah.
But it was necessary. So I was doing it and I didn't complain about it. I just did it. So anyway.
How much time from your life did dialysis take?
It was weird, man, because I was a 5-hour sleeper, dude. Get up, and I'm working all day. I'm doing my thing. And when my partner died, I had to incorporate my daughter into that. It was which was a total job in itself. But I never complained about it. That's the card I was dealt. I'm playing it.
Yeah.
We gonna play that. I'll try not to let my daughter miss a beat. And I explain to her, I say, look, this is our situation. Your friends who have both parents, that's their situation. So anyway, I'm going to pick my daughter up from school one day, and then, they have to stay in the car line. You got to sit there. So I'm sitting in this line, and I see a call from Atrium on the phone. I'm like, man, what do they want? Keep calling me. It's Friday late. What are they calling me for? And the lady was like, you got a minute? I was like, I guess. She's like, I need you to sit down. I was like, man. So what went through my head was, did they take me off the list or something? Because I'm at this point,
yeah.
I'm like, they didn't call me about a kidney. Yeah, called me about that. Yeah, she was like, well, we found somebody to give you a kidney. I was like, I was speechless. And that's unlike me. Anybody who knows me, I'm extrovert times 1,000. I can't even tell you how I felt. And she kept asking me, she was like, are you there? I was like, yeah. Did you just say what I thought you said? And I was like, and then it's a living person? Do I know them? She was like, you don't know who this person, no.
Wow.
And I was like, what do you say about that? I said, do I get to meet him? And like, absolutely not. And then they were like, we want you here on the 29th of January. That's the date. And do you want to do it? I was like, why would you? Of course.
Wow. I can't believe they even asked that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. 1,000%. I'm down. I'm ready. I can come there. I can come right now. Because when you get a deceased donor, that's how it is. They call you.
Yeah, you got to
within
drop
an hour or whatever it is. You got to be there. And I had all of that and all those ducks in a row, but nothing ever works out the way that it's supposed to. If it would have had to happen then, it would have been really a whole lot. But they were like, yeah, you got until the 29th of January, and this is in 25. This is December of 25. You got till the 29th of January in 26. So I instantly hung the phone up, and I was full of tears. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I called my dad, and he just totally broke down.
Oh.
And he's a Vietnam vet. He never, I maybe seen him cry maybe once. I mean, it was unbelievable. My mom has passed. I couldn't even really tell her about it, because she wouldn't be able to handle that. But anyway, it was a great Christmas present.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say,
like awesome. Like it was like unbelievable.
probably the best December you've ever had.
Man, what? So instantly, I thought about Josh. I was like, I'm gonna call him and tell him, it's going down just like I told you it would. And I called him and told him that, like instantly. And he didn't pick the phone up, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Then when I finally told him, everybody was speechless. It was really, man, I told everybody I knew about it. I was just so taken aback by it.
Yeah.
Like, because me personally, like I said before, I probably wouldn't give somebody a kidney.
Yeah.
It's just not I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
That's not something that you don't even think. Of course, you put donor on your driver's license, but you're expecting to be dead at that point. You're not gonna know.
Yeah.
And I'm a donor on my I have the heart on my driver's license. But if somebody, unless it was like a family member or somebody who's like right beside me all the time, my daughter or somebody, I probably would not have done that. So to find out it was somebody altruistically who would do it, was just like, it even made me just look at everybody differently.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it. And you never know who's gonna be out there for you. So long story short, we get to the surgery, and this is as far as I'm concerned, and we're gonna get to Jeff in a minute, which is a whole nother, like, his story is just like, well, anyway. Me and my dad, first of all, it's snowing, is when we just had this crazy snowstorm.
Wow. Yeah, in like 20 years, right?
Yeah. And, my dad is older. We're trying to figure out where to go. It's 5:30 in the morning. We going to, check in or whatever. And we parked in one deck and we had to walk around the campus of the hospital. And by the way, the surgery was actually in Winston-Salem at Wake Forest Baptist versus Charlotte Atrium. So we were an hour and a half away. We didn't know the campus that well. I've been there maybe 3 or 4 times for pre-op stuff. So we get to the waiting room or the waiting area, and they have this kiosk or whatever. You got to pull a ticket, sit down. But you see all the people checking in, and a group of like 7 people are lined up on this wall in front of us. Everybody is affirmed except for 2 people, this man and this woman. It's actually 3 people. And I was just trying to break the monotony with my dad. I was like, what if one of those people is my donor? I was just joking though. I was not even thinking that. And long story short, after the surgery and everything, you get to meet the person who donated to you if you both agree with that. And he comes in my room, and it's all I could say was, I pointed to you yesterday to my dad and told him that. I said, what if that's my donor?
Yeah.
And it was him.
Yeah.
It was Jeff. This is Jeff Boyd, selfless, altruistic. I mean, we call him Batman. Like he's
a hero.
A hero.
We nicknamed him Batman.
There ain't no doubt about it. Like
You definitely got the hero gene.
You got the hero gene. You got it. And I've been asking for that. He don't know that.
Yeah.
Angels get sent. You don't never know what you're dealing with. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know who you dealing with. When you see and that's one thing, I could be a jerk a lot. And you see people out, man, a lot of times you don't know who you're talking to. Exactly. And they don't know who they're talking to. And man, that could be a person who could save you at any time. And that's a big lesson. There's a lot of people out here who walk around here and say what they'll do and all of these things, but if you really want to be a hero, if you even have that gene even a little bit, you really should really think about a donation like this because people need it.
Yeah.
They really do. And there's a lot of people, you only need 1 kidney.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out here who are healthy, who have 2, who can really do this. I had another friend, he wanted to give too, he just wasn't able to do it. And I hope he don't think I have no hard feelings, because I don't. And I told him the same thing. I was like, man, I don't know if I would do that. And the fact that he did it, or even mentioned that he would do it, was just unbelievable. It's all I could do from a call from God is to be an advocate for this. Even to help people who have kidney disease and just be a mentor for them, you know.
Yeah, you
Talk
walk
to
the
'em.
walk.
The whole time I'm like, is this normal? Is that normal? You know, I needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And no offense against the doctors or anything, but a lot of them hadn't been through any of this. They don't know. They know the science behind everything. They know how to fix you, but they don't know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
They can only patronize. I mean, and it's not an intentional patronization. It's they're relating the best that they can.
Yeah.
Being somebody who needed to get a kidney, you know, it's kind of a lot to think about. So when Jeff showed up, I mean, that day in the hospital room was one I'll never forget. We even called Josh too again.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome.
Hey, this is my hero too, man.
No, it was.
I mean,
My dad was in there, my sister, and you know, I rarely see them break down. Man, and he was broke down. His girlfriend and his friend. I mean, it was kind of weird, but it was. I can't really explain it. It was just like that. That was God. All that was God.
Yeah.
Because you know I've been asking for that, and it happened. It happened, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like
The outcome was more than you expected.
I just can't explain it.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I saw my daughter like with a dad again. Me being happier. Not being bogged down. I run a business too.
Yeah.
So to run a business and have your kid and have to do dialysis all at the same time is really a lot.
Hard. It's hard.
It's no joke.
I did want to eventually get deeper to your struggle, not struggle, but your.
Oh, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, but it's
during the wait.
We'll call it a challenge.
A challenge.
I'm not
well,
gonna
you're
call
calling it a challenge.
I'm not gonna call it a struggle. I'm gonna call it a challenge.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it was. Because before that, man, I had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
I had everything I wanted. I could have any. I believe in manifestation. I believe if you think you can have it. Now I don't care what anybody else around you is talking about. Whatever obstacles have been put in front of you. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I know that. I 100% believe that. 1,000%. It's just that my hardest part is being patient and waiting.
Yeah.
So as far as everything is concerned, like the end, you just gotta have faith it's gonna happen for you. But it can only happen if people are willing to give. And that's the only thing I can do at this point is be an advocate for somebody to maybe consider being a donor if they're healthy and they feel that nudge or feel like or if they have a friend or somebody who's in that situation, they're able to help, man, go for it.
Yeah.
Because it's a good thing. It's going to help out everybody. It's going to open up things in you that you did not realize, and receiving is a whole nother humbleness. I mean, it's a whole nother, I just can't explain it. It's a whole nother humbleness. Like I said, I mean, I'm a talker, but this will make you be quiet.
Yeah.
I read story after story leading into it, and everybody that donated said that it was the greatest experience of their life to save somebody's life. And, the entire process. You're better off with one good kidney than 20 bad.
Yeah.
That's one thing you learn throughout the process. They all work together. So, I mean, if one goes down, they're all going to get, both are going down. So I can honestly say I had zero fear.
Yeah.
I'm sure you obviously you felt called to do it. So,
Well, let's
Yeah,
talk.
let's
Let's
go
talk to
into
our
him.
hero, Jeffrey.
Because yeah, this is
Who are you and why are you here?
Yeah, thanks. It's still a mystery too, to a certain degree, right, of how the two of us get connected in this whole process. But it kind of goes. It starts. My story would start with Kara, who he mentioned, who is the woman that I love and who's my partner. She a couple years ago had a 4-year-old son who was murdered.
Mm.
The murderer finally got justice at the end of August last year. That day, she had texted me to say, "Hey, guilty on all counts. Life in prison without parole. Great news, justice was served." And my heart was just open and raw,
Yeah.
knowing what she had been going through for a couple of years through this process. Well, that day I left work. I have a couple of different jobs, but at that point I was working off 77 in Mooresville. I was driving south and I saw this billboard. You mentioned the idea of having to potentially use a billboard to find someone to help save your life. That's the thought that broke my heart that day. I saw a guy in a billboard, a young dude, about 30, and it had an email. It was called beaherofforfrank@gmail.com. And Frank was needing a kidney. He's 30 years old. And for some reason that day versus other days, I'd never seen that. I'd driven by it every day. And it broke my heart. Like, how desperate do you have to be to put your face or your kid's face on a billboard to ask someone to save your life?
Mm-hmm.
That night or that day, basically, I stopped drinking because I knew that drinking was a bad thing for your kidney if you're going to give it away. I should back up. I didn't realize you could give a kidney away. I didn't know you had two, if it was 2 livers. I'm not a science guy. I'm a business guy, language guy, travel guy. I'm like, I don't know. I spent 3 hours Googling that night about kidneys, about donations, like who can give it.
Yeah.
And I was mad that I didn't write the guy's email down. So the next day I drove back after work and got the email and I wrote to him and we had lunch that weekend. So I was going to give my kidney to Frank. And I went through the whole process, which was, I wouldn't say is hard, but it takes some time, takes some effort. It's a different hospital system than Atrium. I won't mention the name because I wasn't very happy with the end result there. But after doing all the testing, meeting with their social worker, psychologist, they finally said, "You're not a match." Ooh. So it's not just blood type, but there's various markers in your blood. Because even you have to take certain medications to help your body adjust to my former kidney, your kidney now. Right. It's not like it just.
We'll get into that in a minute too.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not out of the woods without the medication. Anyway, the markers said you guys are not a match. And so he obviously was devastated. And I was crushed as well. I was ready to do it. You know, I had a pretty easy life, I will say. I gave plasma all through college and after college to help people and to make some money. I always wanted to give to people. My jobs have been largely helping other people and serving. But I never thought about giving an organ away.
Yeah.
And then I realized you could. So once I was rejected by that hospital system, they actually called me and they said, "Hey, well, do you want to stay in the system for someone else?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I do." I'm like, I didn't know Frank. Met him once. I don't care.
Yeah.
It is. Well, didn't hear back for a week, 2 weeks. And so I had to call. I'm like, "Hey, what's the deal? This shouldn't be hard. You already have all my blood work.
Yeah.
Surely you got someone on your list that needs a kidney for me that can match." Well, there's apparently a whole system out there. There's the National Kidney Foundation. There's, the waiting list. There's a network of systems I didn't understand. I'm sure you're more familiar with it because you were.
I still don't understand. I kind of understand it.
It's complicated.
It is very. There's a lot of moving parts with it.
Yeah.
When I say that, you got a deceased donor, and then there's. You go on this list, and it's like, I'm thinking it's like the whole country, and they may ship the kidney to you, or something to that effect, but. I don't know that there's no living donor list. You kind of, and they always like, yeah, you got to find your own, if you want a living donor, that's the best one. And you got to get out here and find it yourself or get it yourself some way, shape or form. That was the most frustrating thing. Mm-hmm. Imagine you're sick and they're like, yeah, you got to go find your own medicine.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
so there's
that's what
no
I got to do.
There's no living donor list?
If there is, I don't know. but you're on a list, and they know, all the hospitals that you register with know that you are looking for a kidney.
So is Jeffrey a rare breed?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't say that. Being a living donor might not be a rare breed, but being an altruistic living donor,
he was pushing for it,
because he's willing to give to somebody he doesn't even know.
Complete stranger.
Complete stranger. Josh and I would have been, he knows me. Or if you give to your brother or your cousin, you know them. But to give to somebody you don't know, you don't see that out here. I mean, the world is crazy right now. There's a lot going on out here.
300 a year in the whole country to do that.
Right.
Wow.
It's not like I said on 60 Minutes, they had the guy, he was like, I was not a good person, but I just had this feeling like I wanted to do it. And they said he had a hero gene. They were trying to explain that, they had this one lady who just was at a beach, and some kid was getting attacked it was a man, kid was getting attacked by a shark. He just went out there and got him and all these things. I was like, I would never do that. I mean, it's just not.
So that
I was just being,
then difficult.
Yeah.
I'm growing more and more frustrated, kind of like you were with not getting the right call from Atrium, right? And so I go back to my computer and I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this hospital. Let me find the next nearest one that I can.
Was that Charlotte? Were y'all at Charlotte at first?
No.
Okay.
No, it was.
He said he's not going to mention the name.
I got you.
They were super nice.
Yeah.
I was in South Carolina, but only an hour.
Yeah.
you can get them. And so, and again, they were super nice in person, but I got a letter in the mail. I'm sorry, but we're not going to work with you anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how does it work? And so I've been calling the National Kidney Registry. So there is like this list in this program, and most people do it through that because you get some benefits. So as a donor, you would get higher on the list in the future if you get a kidney. So would 4 or 5 of your family members. You could be eligible for like a reimbursement of some costs, but only if you make a certain amount, which is like 30 grand a year. And so I make a little more than that. I wasn't qualified anyway. So I'm like, there's no value in that to me to pay for the parking, which is free anyway at Atrium. I don't need a hotel. It's only an hour drive. Anyway, so I'm like, I really don't need to do the normal system. I'm just going to call the hospital direct, right? So I find the nearest one. I'm like, okay, Atrium, cool. Call them, email them. They finally call back a day or two later. I'm like, hey, I was already on this process with another, dude I didn't know. And I'm happy to give to anybody who needs it. They're like, what?
Yeah.
It's just not common, right?
Yeah.
So like the first person that did this, actually his name was Harold Mintz. I found him online. By chance, I'd met the guy at a previous job of mine years ago.
Wow.
And wrote to him. And so we're now connected again. But he was the first like altruistic donor in the country. And that was just 30 years ago. Right?
Wow. And
he had to wait 2 years for the authorities to even approve that. And so it's still a newish thing. Now, this is all new to me too. I didn't know where your kidney was in your body until last August. And so call Atrium. After the third call, I said, listen, let me just be very, very clear with you. I'm ready to give to the next person that needs it tomorrow. Like I've already been determined to do this. I've done the work. Like I can qualify, right? And I don't care about the extra benefits, the ancillary things. Like my parents are older. I'm not going to give them a kidney. Turns out my dad got kidney disease last month. Kind of crazy. But he still owes me a kidney. Sorry, Dad. Anyway, long story short, this woman, Colleen at Atrium in Winston, finally got it. She's like, okay, so you're saying you want to just give the next person on our list, like not anywhere else in the country. I'm like, yeah. Like, can you guys find someone? It's like, yeah, we can do that. Next week, they called Damon.
Wow.
Now, I had to go through their process again, but that was quicker.
Yeah.
Because they knew I was pretty serious. And so it would have been a sooner surgery, but I had a couple of trips already in the books. And so that was the next date that worked. So,
man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You just.
So it's kind of frustrating being a potential donor. How I had to call and insist.
Yeah.
And so
because they probably couldn't believe it. Like, who does that?
And who would do it outside the normal scope of the national network?
Yeah.
I'd even get texts and calls from a woman that was very helpful from the National Kidney Registry. But I was confused. I'm like, why do you keep calling me? Like, you trying to sell me something?
Yeah.
I asked her that one day. She's like, no, just want to make sure you're doing the right thing, the right approach. And I'm like, the right approach is to help save someone's life now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why your program, well, anyway, it's probably a good program for some people. Didn't make sense for me as much.
Wow.
So it was,
So I guess they told Damon, we didn't know, they didn't know if Damon was going to be able to meet him. They're like, hey, he might want to stay anonymous. Apparently some will want to stay anonymous and not meet the, who they donated to. And so it's just an incredible story. But I wrote a letter and actually drove to Winston because I was like, if he chooses not to meet Damon, I wanted him to just
know how you guys feel.
Give him the letter.
Yeah.
I was going to give it to a nurse and just say, you got to please make sure he gets this, So
I always wanted to meet the recipient too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they didn't know that, but, and by the way, like the morning after the surgery was early in the morning. And so I guess later that evening, the nurse comes in and the next day, I'm going to meet you. She's like, by the way, you're going to love the recipient. You guys are going to just hit it off. And
Yeah, absolutely.
very,
You
very
guys
special.
hit it off.
Like,
No, it was crazy. He came in and we started talking and we just I told him I played in a men's league in Charlotte a couple, some years back. He's like, I got a friend who played in that, and his friend played on my team.
Wow.
His middle name is Scott. My middle name is Scott. He was born 3 days before me. What else? It's something else too. It's just little stuff.
Yeah.
All of those things, and that's all because, I put it in face hands and just left it be.
Yeah.
And he, it just worked out that way. That's truly what I think. That's what I believe. I don't like to say a believer because a lot of people around here using that as for whatever their reasons. I'm a knower.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew it was gonna happen. Like I said, I'll try to manifest as much stuff as I can, and everything I've tried to do, besides being a World Cup soccer star, that didn't happen. But who does that happen to? But a lot of people, but it didn't happen to me. Everything else, engineering, everything else.
Yeah.
I manifest all of that, like just put my mind to it, and it happened.
When they called and I talked to them on the phone, I had to ask. I was like, just out of curiosity, why did you decide to become a living donor? And then Kara got on, and that's when she told me the story about Anthony and her son that got murdered and.
Well, do you mind telling who he was murdered by and how that worked?
sure.
This is unbelievable, and to be a recipient of that, of what he's about to say, is just like something else.
Let's hear it.
Yeah,
There's something that
that's-
triggered you.
If you haven't cried yet, you're going to cry now because this is a really heavy part of the story. But so Kara, who I adore, and she was previously married, and she and her husband had fostered 2 young kids. A young boy from basically being a baby until he was 3, 3.5, and then his older sister, who's now 10, whose birthday is the same as your niece. Another connection we had. And so, day before they were going to adopt after a couple years of fostering. Day before the adoption was finalized, the birth mother comes back to town and says, I'll take my kids back, please. That was in Baltimore. She took them to Atlanta. Kara was naturally devastated when she raised, especially the boy from birth to 3. Just ripped out of your arms, right? Like a FedEx package. And she left the state. Their marriage didn't work out. She moved to North Carolina, where I met her 4 years ago. Soon after I met her, she told me about the kids and how she lost them. And she would have weird dreams about Anthony, her son, about not being around. And they would check the police records occasionally and look for signs of maybe the birth mother was arrested and they get the kids back. And sure enough, they found that story one day. Like the birth mother was arrested in jail. So they had a quick moment of elation, like, oh, this could be a positive thing, until they kept reading and realized that the birth mother had murdered her 4-year-old son at that point.
Oh,
A very brutal
wow.
situation that you just can't even comprehend. Yeah. And so I wanted to give my kidney
Is that's what?
in his honor,
Yeah. Okay.
to give a new life out of the life she had lost. So that's really where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah. And the foundation you mentioned, the Safe Within 887, that's
Yeah.
Kara's nonprofit.
Okay.
She had the kids for 887 days. So
Okay.
Safe Within 887 days. It's her organization that you've been a gracious supporter of since, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely,
Kara sends her
absolutely.
thanks for that.
I mean, I've never, when we hung up that day and she told me the story, and I didn't really I didn't trust the process. Damon took it a lot better. He trusted the process. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I was mad. I was pissed off about it. And then when it happened and I talked to her, man, we hung up and I was just, I just broke down crying.
Yeah.
You know, so. Love you, brother.
Thank
Hey,
you.
it's not
Yeah,
every day you get to meet your hero, man.
Yeah. Well, you guys are both heroes.
Hey, look,
Nah, you
know,
Hey,
you in there too,
hey,
bro.
you know,
not-
Leave that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know how it would end. And imagine you set out to do something,
Yeah.
and you can't do it, and it
Yeah.
breaks your heart, and then he shows up and pulls it off with
Yeah.
like a what I call it, a hook and lateral, or
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. Remember, I told you it was gonna work out, though.
Yeah.
I told you it was gonna work out. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Now, you mentioned something about your preparation for the surgery being good for you. Similar for me, like I wasn't super overweight, but I certainly drank and ate a little too much.
yeah.
Especially as you get in your late 40s and now we're 51. You know, you can get a couple extra LBs floating around, right?
Hard to drop.
Yeah. So literally August 29th last year, I stopped drinking and started to take care of myself a little better with food. And I lost 20, 25 pounds before surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really need to per their rules, but it
Yeah.
certainly helped
Yeah.
me and them. And then lost 20 more after surgery.
Wow.
Not intentionally. It was a really rough recovery.
Yeah.
But I would do that again in a minute for this man. But man, that was a hellish week.
Yeah, I bet.
Just post.
So getting to the post surgery.
Yeah. Let's segue into post surgery.
Anybody who may, from what we're talking about, considered doing it or needs a kidney or has already thought about giving. If you saw me, I'll pull these pills out, spill them all over the couch, but put them back in the case. After you have surgery, your body's gonna try to reject the kidney that you got. And for my first week, my tests were coming back great. My creatinine was at a 14, and it had gone down to like maybe a 5 to 3.5, something like that. And then the next week, they let me out of the hospital. But of course, you had to go back 3 times a week, and we could drive back to Winston. And that Monday, we drove back for my first post-op appointment. And we were leaving, and the nurse was like, "You got to go get some of your medication from the pharmacy." So we were waiting for that. We're in a little dining hall or whatever at the hospital, and I get another call back, and the nurse is like, coordinator's like, "We need you to check back into the hospital because some of your numbers came back, abnormal, and we need you to check back in. And, you're gonna have to stay here for a while." And I was like, "What?" Because I had my daughter, I had her aunt and uncle had come from all the way across the country to take care of her. So I was feeling like I was supposed to go back home, and I wasn't going to be able to go back home. I had to go back into the hospital. And I actually skipped a week. The week after my surgery, I went home, and I had to go back a couple of times. Then this was 7 days later. So I did a 3-day thing going back and forth. This is the second Monday after that. So they're like, "Oh, you got to stay in. Some of your numbers aren't coming back that great." So at that point, I had to take into account that they actually found out as my immune system was fighting this kidney. with like the antigens and the antibodies and whatnot. They couldn't figure out if it was the kidney that I perceived that was rejecting or was going against my blood, or if it's my immune system going against.
It was you, not me, man. I give you a kidney.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely, it was my immune. We found out it was mine.
Yeah.
And so I had to do this process called apheresis, where they take plasma from somebody else and send it through your body, and hopefully their antibodies wipe out the antibodies that are trying to reject your kidney. And I had to do that for 12 times.
Wow.
So over 4 weeks, I had to do that 3 times a week.
Wow.
Going back and forth, and every time, man, the doctor would be like, your creatinine's it's stalling, it's not. And I'm like, please, God, me and my dad would just, it's not so much me every time, but my dad was just, my family, they were like looking around like, and I would look at the doctor like, what do you mean? I got a living donor. Why is it like that?
Yeah.
He's like, we just don't know. You're a mystery. You're a mystery. He kept saying that. And I was like, man. And all that could go through my head was, you got a living donor. You cannot, this kidney's got to work. You can't have something in your body from somebody who you met and get along with and it don't work. And he's walking around with one kidney to save you and you met. That's how I felt. And and then,
You're a fighter.
Oh man, after that 4 weeks, my numbers started stabilizing and going in the right direction. Man, and granted, this whole time I'm trying to work, still trying to take care of my little girl, and I'm doing it intentionally because I want to get back to my normal life. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna be the one that it doesn't work with. It's not gonna happen that way, not for me.
Yeah.
And knowing in the back of my mind it could. But thank God, it worked out. All of this stuff worked out. I appreciate all the nurses and everything. I might not have been the nicest guy sometimes, but it was sad to put this apheresis, like this port in my chest, which is very uncomfortable. And I did have to do dialysis one time after, they were trying to see if that would help the kidney to start adjusting a little bit. But the apheresis apparently is what did the trick. So at this point, and this is one thing that everybody who does receive a kidney needs to know, you will have to take an extreme amount of medicine every day so that your body does not reject the kidney that you get. And I have to take this is a total of 10 pills. In the morning, I have to take about 12 of them.
Wow.
Every single day. But anybody that's on dialysis, you will take that
Over dialysis.
Another thing is done. The kidney eats my insulin. See, before, when your kidneys don't work that great, it doesn't really mess with your insulin too much, and you're able to fight sugar a lot better. And you don't know that you may be pre-diabetic or diabetic in a normal state. So when I got the kidney, and it's really weird, they're like, well, I'll get to that in a second. My blood sugar would be high, and they're like, you got to watch it. And at first I didn't take them seriously. So then after a while, they're like, yeah, your blood sugar's a little high. You're going to have to start taking these pills to bring it down a little bit. But they were like, it's a good thing. I was like, really? How is it a good thing? They're like, well, that lets us know your kidney's working because it's eating your insulin. It lets us know that it's getting rid of everything. And it's really doing what it needs to be doing.
Doing its thing.
And while I was on the apheresis, I was on a restricted kidney diet, just like I was during dialysis. And they were like, finally, like, you can eat whatever you want because we want to challenge your kidney. We want to see if it's gonna, do what it needs to do with whatever you eat. And my phosphorus was high, my potassium was high, and all of those numbers went down. Everything went down, man. My blood pressure stayed a little high, but we're working on that. And I got to take a minimal diabetic pill, but I mean, other than that, everything else is
So you feel like you're back to
a lot.
normal,
It made me
or
lose 40
80,
pounds.
90?
There's no back to normal. Supposed transplant normal, and I'm not as strong as I used to be, but we're only 3.5 months out of surgery, so I don't expect to be. My appetite ain't what it used to be, but
51, nobody's as
Yeah.
as they used to be.
but yeah, my appetite ain't what it used to be, things like that. But I mean, my quality of life is just, so for instance, when I was on dialysis, I'd go back and forth to Raleigh to check on my mom's house, things like that. So I would have to stay there with me, a night and then get a hotel or something like that. Carrying all of this dialysis stuff into a hotel room, and you're in the elevator and you've got your machine, all of these, all this equipment, and there's a freaking pole, IV pole, and people are looking at you like, and I don't even tell them, I just take it in stride and, get my room as quickly as possible. But everything revolved around that. And just to even have that little bit of time back, I don't even know what to do with it. Frankly, it's awesome. Not feeling any kind of way, I can actually travel without taking this stuff with me. I can get on a plane. So next week I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. End of June, I'm going to Canada to go see my uncle who's battling cancer at this point. And we're going to Seattle to see my daughter's aunt and uncle. That's where she usually goes, and I send her out there for a couple of weeks, but I'm gonna get to go this time. Nice. Well, before I was all over the place, a lot, all the time, and for like 4 years, I couldn't go anywhere. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. That ain't a big deal at all. But it's just those little things. It makes you look at life a whole different way, especially when somebody else had a hand in it. Yeah.
Look at people differently.
You look at people differently. Like, since this has happened, I've been in situations where before I would have handled them totally differently. Now it's just like I just swat off my back. Yeah. Like I give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't know, I'm gonna see if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, it might have been what I needed, or what I guess how I needed to be in the first place, or a change I needed to make. And I had to get a kidney transplant to make it happen, but I'm totally transparent. I'm a human being, man. Nobody's perfect. And I'm just so thankful. Like I can't explain it. Jeff, I'm so thankful. I pray for him every day. It's unbelievable. I pray for his situation, my family. I got a cousin of mine. He was like, "Yo, you coming to every cookout we got, everything."
So you guys stay connected, well connected
he's
after
been in
this?
my house. My little girl asks about him all the time. My parents, my stepmom, my dad, my little sister. Well, she's my big little sister. And younger sister, we'll call it. She asked about him all the time. Had a birthday thing last week. She was like, "You want to invite Jeff?" I was like, "I don't think Jeff wants to come hang out with us like that."
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but no, it was just a birthday cake, man. You'd have been all right. But, I knew we were getting together this week.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff? What's post-surgery life for you like after donating a kidney? In case somebody's kind of on the fence, maybe wants to, like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I was telling Damon and Josh earlier today that I'm finally feeling better. Still a little weak.
It's only been 3 months, granted.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to take that into perspective.
Yeah.
The timing of it. The first week or two was really hard for me, more than normal. The doctors were shocked because I'm in decent shape, could be in better shape, but I've got a really bad stomach, and that really affected my recovery in the first week or two. I lost like 25 pounds in those 2 weeks. Just wasn't eating and drinking. I had to go back to the hospital for IV fluids, and my neighbor friend, partly because of my experience and her own other reasons, but she gave her kidney away about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Ago.
Wow.
to a
That's
friend
crazy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all live across the street from each
3
other.
doors down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I told her about my thing, and she's like, a friend of mine's mother needs one. I should have looked into it.
Wow.
And they were matched, and she did it.
Wow.
But she's 40 and is a runner, like marathons. It's like by day 6, she was running again.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I'm like, you are an amazing woman. You're like, I was on my couch for a month.
Wow.
I didn't leave the house. I went to your house on like day 30.
Yeah.
First time really leaving my
And
house.
we were both like, hey,
Yeah. What's up, man? Yeah. Just sitting there.
you want some water?
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it was tough, but and I had a lot of time to think and reflect. And I watched some of those like 60-minute type shows. I watched 1 or 2 movies where I found out that Harold Mintz was the first guy to do it, and it just put it all into perspective too, in terms of the need and how it's not that hard. Right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's one day of my life plus a couple weeks that were tough, but then okay, yeah, I got a scar and I'm sensitive and my stomach still is a little weird, like little jolts of electricity sometimes, but overall, so what? Like this dude is living his life
Yeah.
again, and his daughter has her dad back, and
Mhm.
and so like I had it rough, and I would do it again in a minute. Most people have a
So
lot.
no regrets?
Not one regret. In fact, I'm thinking about doing my liver next.
No.
Can you give a portion of your liver?
I just
Yes.
did that last week.
It's a
Yeah,
piece
I
of
think
it.
you can.
Really? You can?
Most of it. Yours grows back.
Wow.
And the recipients
Yes,
grows back
yeah.
fully too. It's
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to donate a portion of the liver,
Hey, you know,
There it is.
you know, you think about it, the older you get, you know, you hear that when you're young and when you need to make money,
yeah.
you hear that, time's your greatest asset. And the older you get, you realize that's true.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
seriously, I mean, obviously you need money to pay your bills and everything, but time really
Time
is,
is
you know,
money.
it's-
Because it starts going away.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like
Yeah.
you got to take every day and it's precious, you know.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
health as well.
Health,
Like I was saying
health,
earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Health
I re-
is definitely wealth.
I remember
There's no doubt about it, Max.
yeah, I remember me and you were talking. That's when I found out about your kidney situation. You were telling me about your dialysis process, like everything. You're going into detail, and I'm just shocked. I'm like, how are you even working?
Yeah.
He met me at the job site. I had a situation where he needed to come out, sign off on some things. I'm like, I wouldn't even be out here, going through what he was going through.
I was like, I gotta eat. We gotta eat. I'm
You're
not
a
sitting
fighter.
down like
You're
that.
a fighter.
Yeah, I'm not. I used to play soccer for this guy when we were young, and kids would say, I'm hurt. He was like, oh, you're not coming off the field unless you're injured. There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. Injured is when you can't walk or you're losing blood. But if you're hurt, just like a little bruise, you're not coming off. You're not coming off. I don't want to hear about it. And that's how I live my life. I might be hurt, but I'm gonna keep going until a leg breaks or something like that. And that's the only thing that's gonna stop me. And this kidney thing was definitely starting to be an injury. And I don't need anything impeding what I'm trying to do or have done or my routine or any of that. And just being a single parent like that, you gotta have so much energy to take it. And I have a lot of help. I really do. I have a lot of help. I feel a certain way about single parents who don't have any help.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of single moms out here who don't have any help. My mom and dad were divorced, and my mom took care of me by herself a lot, but my dad was there, but not acute right there all the time.
Yeah.
Being single parent without anybody, that person is gone is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
You just don't have any help. And there are a lot of people who have a partner who they had a child with who that other person doesn't help out at all. So they're basically by themselves too. So that's a real challenge, but it's one that I take on in stride, and I'm gonna keep taking it on and do what I need to do. And does it get hard? Of course, but it's hard being a parent, period. So that's why, and I told him this before, if it weren't for my daughter, I probably wouldn't even care like that. My doctor would have been like, you need to go on dialysis. I was like, well, I won't be doing that. You know, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't even.
So your daughter drove you to fight?
Oh man.
Well, I thought about you walking her down
Time
the
a
aisle
thousand.
one day.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
there's
all
so
of those
many,
things. All and her just, us losing her mom was just like out of this world.
Yeah.
Like beyond
That must have been another experience.
anything that I could, like I never saw that coming.
especially at her age.
Yeah, I never saw that coming. Like, you don't see these things coming. You just, and to be sick myself, I just felt pressure, like a pressure that I had to just overcome this. I needed that. I would tell God that I'm like, I need this. Please, I need this. And man, when that lady called and said that on that phone, man, I can't even tell you. It's funny. And you can, Colleen, you could ask her. I literally, this was a Thursday. I tried to call her back that Friday, like, did you call and tell me that yesterday? And I left that on her voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dang, I need her to call me back. And that Monday she called, she was like, yeah, I did tell you that. I was pinching myself like,
Yeah.
because like I said, man, I mean, I'm not no bad person or nothing, but I mean, I can be an a-hole sometimes, not the person you think deserves something like that all the time. And for it to happen was just very, very, very reassuring and humbling that you ain't out here by yourself in any way, shape, or form. I had several other people who attempted to help. They just weren't the right blood type. Man, it's just.
So there's heroes out there.
Oh, they're heroes out here. O blood is very.
Out there, man, right here.
Yeah.
We got two.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a hero as well. You all, you walk the walk.
Having O blood is a blessing because you can help anybody, but for somebody to help you, they have to be an O. You can give to anybody, but you can only take from O. And thank God I'm not an O negative, because you can only take from O negative at that point.
Mm.
So.
Well, they said, I think it was 1 out of 13 people that actually signed the form living donor. Only 1 out of 13 actually become a donor.
Wow.
It's really tough. I mean, you experience
Very rare. Yeah.
Dude, it's like, what do you got to do to give somebody a kidney?
Not easy to.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
Now, if
it
you
was
give
so
someone you know,
frustrating.
it's easier.
Right.
Through that way, it's a lot easier to do.
Right. But the way he did it was, and the fact that you told him, I don't want to be on some registry or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm ready now.
Yeah, I want to do it now.
Yeah.
Because they might have given it to someone else, like in California.
Right,
It
exactly.
could be anywhere.
And then you pop up and you gave it to me, and we met. I mean, that's.
Like somebody in your list that your hospital here.
In the city.
Yeah. Well, no, this isn't Winston.
Oh, or in the
this
state.
area, yeah. Whoever.
Yeah,
whoever's
in the
on that
vicinity.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not California or
Let's make
some.
it easier.
Yeah.
I was going to say about the health and wealth thing. So this week I actually quit my job. I didn't tell you that. But, and part of the reason is just this new perspective of life. Like, I don't care about, like last year I had a really good year in that job. I have 2 other small jobs. I'm like, I don't want to make making money my priority. Like health, friendships, family.
Yeah.
I just kind of clicked. I'm like, I don't need that right now. And largely
It's
due
a good choice.
surgery experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it changed your view on life as well.
Yeah. Like life's too short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, they're 51, I'm 50. You playing Little League Baseball one day, and the next thing you know, you snap your fingers, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's
Time
going
flies.
quick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Way too fast.
Really fast.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right there, man.
Yeah.
You know how
I'm not far behind.
Yeah. That next 10 goes fast, man.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Makes me
It's
sound
crazy. Just go quick.
It's crazy. The older you get every year, they just go by so much
Snap.
faster.
Yeah.
It's
Jeez.
like, boom.
Stop scaring me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow, I'm 41.
Just live it though.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. Just live
yeah.
it because
Yeah.
it is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that I can sit up here and say that it's awesome. A lot of people don't have that perspective on life for whatever reason, for whatever experiences they may or may not be having.
Did you ever consider throwing in the towel?
No.
No, you were just fighting all the way through.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it got.
Like I
'Cause
said,
you
if it
got
wasn't
you
for
got
my
some
daughter-
things thrown at you.
Yeah, if it wasn't for my daughter,
Yeah,
I might not have been as strong as I was.
yeah,
But I'm not doing this for me.
yeah,
That's the next thing. You ain't doing it for you though.
yeah.
Because I had a friend of mine tell me, I'm actually going to see him this next weekend. Before all of this happened, I would always go to Fort Lauderdale, watch Champions League with my old roommate. And he told me when I had my little girl 10 years ago, he was like, you know, why did you come? Why you come see the Champions League with me? You got a daughter at home. I was like, dude, I just needed a break. He was like, man, your life is over. This ain't
Belongs to her.
this belong you living for her now.
Yeah,
I said, if I don't come take this break, this is gonna make it a lot better. So mind your business. But still, but it was something that stuck in my head.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he knows Pat.
Yeah.
It's something that stuck in my head. And like I said, if that wouldn't have happened, I would have just gracefully, you know, que sera, sera. You know, it just been what it's gonna be. You know, and I couldn't, with my daughter, I just couldn't let it be like that. It couldn't be like that. I had to make that happen. Some way, as best as I could, whatever was in my control. But with this, it's not about, you're not controlling anything. You have to be humble enough to first accept that somebody else is going to have to help you.
Yeah.
Then you got to find that person, whoever it's going to be. And that's the hardest part.
yeah. Just being along for the ride.
Just
that
being
you can't
along for the
control.
ride, that you cannot control.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I pray for every night, you know. Give me the wisdom, knowledge, and strength, and the power to overcome all obstacles that stand before me, dude. And the things that I can't control, you got it. And he sure did. Her, him, whatever it is. Could be, you know.
So are you good for forever?
No,
Or what's
never good
your
forever.
future look like? Like with
that's
the,
not
with
in
the
my
kidney.
hands either. But
You
as
gotta
far as
take you gotta take
you have to take
medication
anti-rejection
for the re-
medicine every day.
every day.
For the rest of your life, twice a day. Of course, it goes up and down, how much you take, how much you don't take. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I lost 30 or 40 pounds, which probably would have been fine with losing half of that. But I'm fine with that. You know.
We don't need to be muscle man at
But I know,
a certain age, right?
But I do. So I met a lady before I went into the surgery, and she was like, I have 5 kidneys.
Oh wow.
I was like, what?
Where they put them?
No, well,
Well, it's basically
her dad and I know each other, and we had this like a Christmas senior dinner for some charity that we were doing, and she came in and she was like, my dad told me you're getting a kidney transplant. I was like, yeah. She was like, I've got 5. I was like, you kidding me?
Wow.
First she got one from her brother and then 2 more after that.
Wow.
So she had 5 transplants.
Yeah, she had 3 transplants.
Oh, wow.
So you know, some of them last for 30 years, 40 years. Some of them last a year. And these are things they tell you.
It's something you
but
don't know.
You don't know, but
there's no warranty on mine.
there's no warranty on anything. But and the
You
donors
can't give
know
it. You
that.
can't give it back.
Yeah, the donors know that. Now that's another reason why they don't let you meet the person beforehand. There's so much, you know, so many jaded
the
people
feeling,
out here
yeah.
that.
Yeah. You gave me a bad kidney.
But no, not even that. People will see somebody else that they may not even talk to on the street and realize they're going to give them a kidney and be like, oh, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, just the little things. I mean, and this world is just crazy right now. I'll be remiss not to talk about the environment of things out here. No matter where you stand or don't stand, just be a good person. Don't walk around talking about what God does and turn around and do the most hypocritical thing that is not just hurting you, but hurting everybody else around you, and say that it was a God-sent thing, because that is not what we're here on this earth to do, and it's not correct. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And you can take that any way you want to take it. You know what I'm talking about. But let's just move forward, man. That's what I'm about. I'm glass half full. Rain, sleet, hell, snow.
Yeah.
And let's go. You know, I grew up. Another thing I think about, I played soccer growing up. I had asthma and high blood pressure. Playing the hardest sport, one of the hardest sports you could play as far as, and I could persevere through that, then I can get through any of this. You know, that's just how I think. You know,
Back to your question about life expectancy, I think the average is like 20, 25 years for a living kidney versus 10 from a deceased.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is.
For donors, you actually have a higher life expectancy.
Wow.
Because you're more cautious of your lifestyle.
Hey,
oh, wow.
That's so funny you say that because
it's a win-win.
So it's a win-win for you.
So many people ask, like, are you sure about this? And I genuinely said, I was like, I truly believe I'll live a longer life.
Yeah.
One, because you're going to have to eat clean, work out, not, you know.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Let's not leave this without saying, anybody who needs a kidney, do not be afraid to ask. That is the first thing you have to do. You got to put yourself out there. If you don't,
honest, Facebook is when he asked on Facebook and I saw it and that got the.
If you don't do it, closed mouths do not get fed. That's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number two, you really just have to persevere through whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to sit here and make it up that it's easy because it's not. Anybody who tells you that it is, they haven't experienced it. It's just you decide how you're going to take it and do what the doctors tell you to do. Anybody out here who is on the fence about being a donor, do not be on the fence. Listen to these guys. If you have time, if you have the wherewithal to do it, it's going to be something that you're going to benefit from.
You can join my club, the One Kidney Club.
Get that cool shirt.
There's a funny little story about that. So the weeks on my couch after surgery, for some reason, that Chapel Roan song about the Pink Pony Club just got stuck in my head. I kept having these dreams about the One Kidney Club from that song.
Yeah.
I found a t-shirt online. I had to order it.
Wow. Anything else anybody want to add?
Oh, man. This is the guy. This is the man right here, man. Seriously.
It's all together.
I appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah.
100%.
Again, man.
Yeah.
Josh, I appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Blue.
Yeah. This is the first time I got to meet Jeff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was super stoked about coming down. Yeah.
Yeah, we just felt like we needed to get this story out. The
Me
first
too.
day we met, that's like the second or third thing we said, man, we have to be advocates for this, period. And then Max, when I was on a job with you, you brought that up. At first I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I said, man.
I knew right away. I'm like, this has to go out.
I said, whatever. And then kept telling my story. He was like, don't say my story. Don't say your story. We're going to do a podcast. And that's when we'll get everything out. And I was like, man, this is going to be a good thing. He had to stop
I had to stop him.
Because I'm trying to tell everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to tell everybody.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Even down to this. This used to be my office.
Great.
That is crazy.
Where we're doing this right now, this used to be my office like 17 years ago.
Like
This
for
window
real.
I used to look out of. I was an engineer for Pete Verner. He was an awesome dude. And
How does that even happen?
how does that happen? And all of this is just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. It's nutty. The building next to us, that was Pete's dream, and we tried to help him live that dream, period. It didn't necessarily work out. He didn't necessarily get all the credit for that. You know, some things happened that I'm not sure. Frankly, I don't know what happened, but full circle, this is unbelievable in a lot of ways. So if you don't believe in miracles, things can happen.
Yeah.
And you just gotta be willing to let it happen to you and don't fight it.
Well,
Period.
gentlemen, this was an incredible conversation. Damon, thank you for sharing your human experience and your fight.
Very much.
Jeff, you are proof that heroes walk among us.
Thank you.
And Josh, you showed us what true friendship can be.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And I guess that'll conclude the podcast.